Live from the 412, it's Platt's Point of View, y'all. Let's go. Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Platt, and this is Platt's Point of View. And on today's show, I'm so excited. We have a up-and-coming Power 5 Conference off-ball linebacker. He's a thumper with a high motor. Last season in 12 games, he had 50 total tackles, 24 solo tackles, 1 sack, 1 enter. This upcoming season will be his last, and he's looking to make a name for himself and his team in the ACC and in college football as a whole. I want to welcome Pitt middle linebacker, redshirt senior, number 30, Brandon George. What's up, man?
What's happening?
Thanks for joining me, man. We're going to get right into it. I'm so excited you're here, man. Let's talk about your upbringing, man. Where did you grow up? Reading, PA, right?
Yes, sir. I grew up.
Okay, my fault, not to cut you off. Yeah. Talk about Reading, PA, where you grew up at, and when did you start falling in love with the game of football?
Yes, sir. I grew up in Reading, Pennsylvania, which is about 4 hours east of here, closer to Philadelphia. Football was just the name of the game. My entire family loved football from day one. I was brought up in the game, started playing when I was 6 years old, going to flag football games. I was born during the Eagles game on a Sunday in November. At 2 o'clock, I remember that. I remember I remember my mom telling me about that all the time. So like, it was just, it's in my blood. It's in who I am. It's in who my family is.
That's what's up, man. Talk about life as a student athlete at the University of Pitt. Like, what's a typical day like, man?
A typical day, especially when I was an undergrad, it used to be a little rough. We're a morning practice team at the University of Pittsburgh, so normally my day starts around 5 o'clock, 5:30 when I get up. I'm out of the house by 6. I'm at the facility by about 6:30, and then I'm there, whether it's going through practice, game film, going through practice film, going through extra stuff, getting your body right after lift or after practice. Normally we don't get out of there until 12:30, maybe even 1 o'clock. And then after that, we go on straight on to class. Whether that's at one point during my career, I had class from 12:30 to 8:30 at night, 3 days a week. So yeah, so it was a lot. That was a hard 2 semesters that I had that. But we powered through it and graduated. But that's kind of the basic day for most of us.
What's your favorite class?
My favorite class that I had here at Pitt, that was probably a race and business ethics class I had. It was from 6 to 9:30 at night though, which was rough, but it was a great class.
9:30 at night. Wow, you still getting to the academics.
Yeah,
man.
I'll tell you what though, those were some really early mornings the next day.
Yeah, I bet.
There were some real early mornings.
What's your GPA?
My GPA in college was a 3.21, I want to say.
That ain't bad. That's cool. What do you like about college, and what don't you like about college?
I like the ability that we have, especially as student athletes, we get a little bit of an edge on it. We get to choose our classes and when we want to have them. So the entirety of my college career, I have never had a class on a Friday.
Oh, wow. so your weekend start early.
Yeah, well, yeah, but the main reason we kind of did that, like myself and the academic staff, was kind of because we have travel days on Fridays, so I didn't want to miss any class. I set it up so my weeks are generally front heavy, with Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday being the hardest days that I normally have. Right. And then Thursday being kind of that taper off, because we don't really have there's no such thing as a day off in college football.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's not all year round.
All year round, you're always prepping, doing something to improve yourself or improve your team. So at the end of the day, like, that's kind of the name of the game. So that's why we set it up like that. That's definitely my favorite. Definitely my favorite part is just the flexibility of how we can go through our schedules. The only downside is then that flexibility as well. Like there are a couple classes that you want to take. You can't take them if they're during the morning, because we're a morning practice team.
Because you're working out and stuff.
Yeah, so we're working out. We're doing things to try and win football games. So at the end, they're like, well, you want to play college football, you don't get to take class from 9 to 11 or 9 to 12, whatever that time period is. And most of the time we're like, oh, darn. But there's a couple times that you really want to get those classes, and it just doesn't work out.
Since you've been here, you're from Reading. What do you like about Pittsburgh, and what don't you like about Pittsburgh?
I love the fact that Pittsburgh's a big city feel. Or let me rephrase that. It's a big city with a small town feel. So like, it feels more like home than say when I visited Philly, or say when I visited like some other places. Like doesn't have that like overwhelming feeling that when you get in the city and everybody's so welcoming, like especially when like if you walk down the street and someone sees you're like wearing something Pitt athletics related.
Right.
Oh, what sports do you play? Do you play football?
Oh yeah, yep. I know exactly.
Immediately everybody wants to talk about what's going on, which is always a blast. I always enjoy talking ball with anybody that wants to talk ball.
Right.
The only downside is sometimes the traffic. And sometimes the bridges get a little backed up when you try and go somewhere.
Yeah, we're the only city that has construction going on 24/7.
Oh yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, the other day I was trying to get back into Oakland, me and my roommate, and I was like, oh no, go this way. This way is the shorter way.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was wrong.
Wow.
I was wrong because they were doing construction, so we had to go all the way down past near the Squirrel Hill exit and come back around to get into Oakland.
Yeah.
I had like another 5-10 minutes. We're like, oh man.
Reading traffic way less than this, huh?
Oh yeah, there's no traffic in Reading. Barely any traffic in Reading.
What part of your game do you think you need to improve most on?
At this point in my career, I think I just need to improve more on pass coverage. It's the name of the game. And now it's more the name of the game.
Yeah, covering them backs and them tight ends.
Yeah. So we've been blessed, or I've been blessed with the coaching staff that we have and with the scheme that we have. That most of the time I'm a cover 3 match.
Okay.
So I don't have to cover. I don't never really have to cover anybody that's.
So you in like a
Josh
zone
Downs,
basically.
Yeah. Josh Downs, anybody that's in front of me, I get the number 3. I match him a 5-yard line. So,
you said Josh Downs. He was a dog.
Yeah. So I don't got to match nobody like that. And we're running backs and tight ends for the most part.
Okay. Tell me, man. Who do you listen to pregame to get you amped up before them ACC matchups and so on, man?
Ooh, see that's rough because I would never listen to it outside of prepping for a game.
No doubt.
But I listen to a lot of metal.
Oh yeah, nothing wrong with it. Hey, to each his own.
So Avenged Sevenfold, like Disturbed, different stuff like that.
Okay.
So just
no
because
Aerosmith, no Megadeth or nothing.
Nah, Megadeth a little too far out there.
No Stone Temple Pilots.
Stone Temple Pilots occasionally.
Okay.
Occasionally.
Okay.
But that's definitely like it's a little too hardcore for my daily routine. But prep for football is just right.
One more. What about you? What about Imagine Dragons?
I'm not a big Imagine Dragons fan.
They're tight, man. I like their music. What's your favorite pregame meal?
Ooh, for the past, I want to say past how many years? It sounds like an odd one, but because every meal for us is always the same, regardless if it's a morning game, midday game, night game.
So what do you usually consist of?
It's always a buffet.
So whatever.
So like it's like we'll be eating at 7 in the morning if we have a noon game. It'll be eggs, pancakes, sausage or bacon.
Yeah.
And then on the other side of the table, it's like chicken, rice, green beans.
Man, I don't want that early in the morning.
So a lot of us end up taking because we don't want to ruin it.
Yeah.
Everybody will get a little bit of something from somewhere just so that regardless if we have a 7 a.m. game.
Right, just to get some on your stomach.
And that way
a little bit of energy.
Some of us, like myself, are kind of superstitious, so we eat the same thing all the time.
Okay,
So like now, I get pancakes.
Okay.
If we're eating at 7 a.m. for a noon game, okay, I got pancakes. I'm set. It's always pancakes, chicken, maybe a little bit of eggs.
What about a night game though? They don't think y'all breakfast for night games too?
It's the same buffet.
It don't matter.
Like I said, because everybody, people like myself are a little superstitious.
Right. You might want breakfast for dinner and so on. Okay.
I just like eating the same meal before every game. You know exactly how you're gonna feel, what's gonna upset your stomach, what's not.
Right. Yeah. No doubt.
So,
tell me something most people don't know about you, man.
What most people don't know about me. That's one thing. I'm a pretty open book with everybody that really knows me real well. But I'd say that most people don't know that I'm a nerd at heart. I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan. I'm a big Star Wars fan.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. May the fourth be with you.
Yeah. Appreciate you, but that's kind of like the I guess you could say not the odd thing, but the thing that most people wouldn't guess about like a college athlete or a football player that. Deep down inside, a couple of us are nerds.
Nah, ain't nothing wrong with it.
Nope.
Give me your favorite NFL team, favorite NFL player.
So, I grew up a Browns fan.
Goodness, you gotta go. No, I'm messing with you.
I grew up a Browns fan because my dad always used to tell me, when I was growing up, they always used to play in the snow, the rain, the muddy games.
How football, the dog pound.
Yeah, that's how football needed to be played. I was like, all right, well, I guess I'm a Browns fan now. So I've had a lot of down seasons at a couple up ones here and there.
Yeah, they've been on the up. They've been on an
Yeah.
upward trajectory lately, though, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got some pieces.
Yep, thankfully.
Yeah.
Thankfully. But and then my favorite player right now is probably gonna be Fred Warner.
Fred Warner.
Yeah.
Okay. Well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's hard. It's hard to beat. It's hard to beat.
He's tough, man.
He's too good.
He's tough.
He's too good.
Favorite food to eat. Favorite place to eat.
Okay. Right. I think right now, because it's flavor of the month. You know how everything goes. You up and down with favorite food to eat. But right now, I'm gonna have to go with steak. Good charcoal.
That's what I'm having for dinner tonight. Wow.
Yeah, good charcoal steak.
Okay.
It's hard to beat.
Yeah.
Hard to beat.
You ain't lying.
And then there's a couple little places for breakfast. There's a little spot in Mount Washington called Eggs and More. That's a fantastic
Oh
breakfast.
yeah, I'm not familiar.
Yeah.
I gotta check it out.
That's a fantastic breakfast spot. I'm just gonna go down the list because we're talking.
Yeah, no doubt.
Waffles and Caffeinated is a good brunch spot.
Yeah, they're all right. I've eaten there before.
And then there's a really nice restaurant that I like to go to called Fish Nor Fowl over on Penn Ave. It's really good. But last time
You like seafood?
Yeah, it's like over there. It's like a mix. It's like a Mediterranean food. So
Okay.
Like last time I got duck when I went there.
I never had that. I gotta try
It
it.
was really good. It was really good.
Closest to duck I had was duck sauce. Who do you model your game after? I pretty think I know the answer to that.
Who do you think I'm?
Fred Warner.
I'm a little See, with Fred, like me and Fred aren't that comparable just because of our size differences.
Right,
like,
right.
Everybody wants to model their game after Ray Lewis, and
He's like the model. He's
I'd be
like the
remiss if I
standard.
didn't say I tried to model my game a little bit after him.
Yeah.
Just the intensity that he plays at, that he played with. How he ran to the ball, how he's always a thumper. He was trying to knock somebody's head clean off his shoulders every time he hit him. Like, it's hard not to try and emulate that, especially as a guy who plays inside linebacker.
Right. Give me your 5 favorite hip hop artists.
5 favorite hip hop artists.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see if I can name all of them right now. Future.
Yeah,
Future's
man.
always.
He's the man.
Young Thug. Always there.
Free Young Thug.
Sleepy Hollow.
Okay.
Sleepy Hollow is there. We're gonna go with Jay-Z. Jay-Z's always fantastic.
Oh wow! I wouldn't think nobody your age would say Jay-Z.
Oh yeah, we can talk about it. I'm going pretty modern right now.
Okay.
We're going Jay-Z.
You got one more.
If we're throwing it, I already threw Jay-Z in there, so I got to throw Ice Cube in there.
Ice Cube?
Yeah,
Oh wow!
Ice
You a young dude with an old soul. That's my era, man.
Oh, if I pulled up my playlist, you'd be going down, you'd be like, okay.
It's
like,
crazy because most people your age, they only know Ice Cube from Friday and movies. They don't know he was a heck of a rapper. You know what I mean?
Greatest diss track ever dropped.
You know your hip hop, my man.
Greatest diss track ever dropped.
Yeah, definitely. That and probably Hit 'Em Up with Tupac, definitely. Favorite sports movie?
Remember the Titans.
That's a good one.
Remember the Titans. That was when I grew up watching.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I grew up watching.
Favorite TV show?
Right now it's gonna be House of the Dragons.
House of the Dragons?
Yeah.
Okay.
Little Game of Thrones prequel. New season comes out in June. So
You like a lot of medieval.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I could tell.
Just I don't know why. It's always just something that like sparked my interest when I was growing up. So it just kind of like just led into my adult life.
Yeah, that's like Dungeons and Dragons. That's how I look at that. Man, ain't nothing wrong with it. No. So tell me, man, what's the process for academic support at the University of Pittsburgh?
Academic support, they do a phenomenal job with that. For us, we're blessed to have in our building we have an academic office. So in our practice facility over on Water Street. Yeah. So it's upstairs with all the meeting rooms. We have 4. Yeah, it's 4 right now. 4 permanent members in there that all have different position groups split up.
Okay.
They all know what your schedule is. They all know what assignments you have due, when your exams are, and they help you schedule classes for the fall. And basically tell you like, hey, this will work for your schedule. I don't know if this will work for your schedule. Let's find something new.
Yeah.
So when you go into them at the beginning or the end of the semester, depending on if you're just getting here or if you've been here to schedule your classes, they go through everything with you. This is what you need to complete your bachelor's or your master's and whatever you're getting. These are just classes that work best in our schedule, and these are classes that you're not going to be able to take during the spring. So we should take these now. We should take so-and-so class later. And they go through that with every single student athlete on the team, whether you're a walk-on or a scholarship player.
Oh, that's
which
good.
Which is phenomenal. And they help me more times than I can count trying to get in classes or trying to figure out what's going on with this exam. They set you up with tutors.
I was about to ask you that. Okay, cool.
Yeah, they set you up with tutors. If you need a tutor, if you need someone to walk you through your homework, if you need someone to help you study for an exam, or I don't quite get this, can you help me? And the other thing that we have, which is another great asset, is we have a writing lab. That's up in the Peterson Event Center, but we have a writing lab that I have an essay to write. I need help because not everybody's great at writing essays. I wasn't great at writing essays. It took a lot of practice for me to get relatively decent at it. I'm not even gonna say good, decent at it. But you just walk in there, hey, I need help, and they sit down with you. They say, okay, let's go through it, and they'll go through everything with you. Or if you need them to proofread it, they'll proofread it with you.
Okay.
So that's one thing that they don't slack on at all at University of Pittsburgh is our academic support.
Shout out to this Pitt academic department, man, for taking care of these student athletes.
Yeah.
Tell me, man, so what are the policies for missed practices or being late due to class commitments?
Oh, being late to class? You don't want to be late to class.
Yeah.
The class is up there with missing practice. So the way that it works for us is it's randomized. You'll have a class checker stand outside of your class.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So someone that stands outside with either a pen and pad, or they'll have a PDF on their iPad, and each of us has to sign in. If they check your class.
That's
you have to sign in, and then you put your name.
Like a roll sheet.
Yeah, exactly like a roll sheet.
Yeah.
So if you're late to class, if you have there's a 3-minute buffer.
Okay.
So I was parking, I got there class starts at 6, I got there at 6:02. You're okay, there's a little bit of a buffer. But anything after 3 minutes, now you're considered late from 5 to 10.
Wow.
From 4 to 10 really, you're considered late. Anything after 10, you're considered absent.
Wow.
So if you and that
even if you don't got a good excuse?
Yeah, and if you didn't communicate, communication is big.
Oh, you got to talk to the professor.
You got to talk to the professor.
I get it.
You got to talk to academics because academics sets that up.
Okay.
Who gets class checked. So it's all for your own benefit.
Right.
You're supposed to be going to class. You should be going to class. Go to class.
Yeah. Period.
So
you don't want to mess that scholarship up.
No, exactly. Especially for a lot of us that are blessed to have our school paid for.
Right.
There's no reason you should be skipping class.
Yeah.
But if you miss, our Coach Stacchiotti gets to have you for a period to really talk to you, explain to you why. Let me run it back a little bit. Coach Stacchiotti is our strength and conditioning coach.
Okay.
Coach Stacchiotti gets the chance to explain to you why you shouldn't be late to class anymore.
Oh, so he's the disciplinary.
Okay. Yeah, just kind of you missed class, you're responsible for your actions basically. And at the end of the day, you probably don't want to be late to class anymore after that little discussion.
I bet.
We don't have a ton of guys that miss class checks and stuff like that because we're generally on top of that. Because we preach at Pitt, how you do one thing is how you do everything.
Okay.
So you miss class, you're gonna miss practice. You miss practice, you're gonna miss a rep during the game. You miss a rep during the game.
I get it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, they're trying to build repetitions with you guys. Brandon, what you like to do in your free time, man?
The little free time that I have, I like to go fishing.
Fishing? Okay.
Yeah.
I used to like fishing, man. I used to get bit up by the bugs, though.
Yeah, that's one thing. That's one thing that gets rough.
I couldn't go no more.
That's one thing that gets rough.
Oh, they tear you up, man. They tear you up.
Me and my roommate's from South Carolina, so we're gonna do a decent amount of fishing this summer. But
seems like a lot of down south people like to fish.
Yeah. It's just it's so calm and relaxing. It's just you, the water, a fishing rod.
Right. Definitely.
Just go casting out, reeling in if you're using bait. But
do you fish? And when you catch the fish, do you cook them or you just catch them just for the sport?
Depends on what I'm fishing for.
Okay.
Like in June, I'm gonna go fishing for walleye.
Okay.
Up in Erie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're keeping everything that
Walleyes are pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had them.
Oh yeah, we have a couple fish fries at the house.
Yeah. Oh, now you talking my language, man. So do the professors accommodate the athletes, like due to the schedule conflict? You know what I mean? Like you might have a Thursday night game on ESPN, and you might have class the same time. How do they accommodate that?
So the way that goes at the beginning of every semester, our academic staff, shout out to them again.
Okay.
Hooks you up with a letter and then sends the professors a letter as well. So
Okay.
you have to hand them the letter, and then they'll also have one in their email. But basically, it just says these are the dates I'm not going to be able to be
here,
at class
be in class.
because of competition.
Right.
Can you please excuse me? And
okay.
So that all our professors are very understanding. Like if you were supposed to have an exam that day, they'll either move it up so you can take it early, or they'll push it back so you can take it and not have to worry about it like before the game.
Yeah, right.
Stuff like
right.
that.
That's what
So,
I was worried about.
yeah.
I wanted to know that.
Yeah, so they're very accommodating. Like I said, God forbid, like someone were to get injured, message them.
Right.
Hey, I can't make it to class. I'm having trouble walking. Okay, here's the material for today. Like a lot of professors are very understanding and love Pitt football in general and love athletes in general. So it's very easy. It's very easy for us to communicate with them and come to an understanding at the end of it.
Okay. How many hours do you usually study each week? I mean, each night.
Each night?
Yeah.
We talking football? We talking academics?
Both, man.
Film generally when I get home it'll be between 2.5 hours of film study, just because that's after I've already done stuff in the morning or
Right.
stuff.
Right.
And that's sprinkled in because we have iPads that we get, so we can watch film on iPads.
Yeah.
Which is very helpful.
Definitely.
Especially when we're on the move, going to classes and stuff like that. If you get to a class early, sit down, get an extra 15 minutes of filming. Just every rep counts.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Going through that, and then as far as for school would be close to an hour. I'd give it an hour and a half a day, but then I front load a lot of my studying in the beginning of the week because Monday is our off day.
Okay.
I put quotations around that. But because we don't have practice per se. We have to check in for a meal and then check in with academics on Mondays, and then you can get a lot of the older guys figured out that we can get extra film in and stuff like that when we come in and get as we eat and stuff like that. Get a jump on the weekend and get a jump on the week for the next opponent. But at that time, there's a study center in there, so you can in our building. So we just step aside, study for a little bit, come back to it. I bulk load that. I'll probably study for 2-3 hours at the beginning of the week too.
That's good, man.
Yeah.
Okay, Brandon, you already got your bachelor's degree in business administration. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Talk about that journey, and I also see, man, you're working on getting your MBE, man. So you want to elaborate on that?
Yeah. So the journey for me to get my my bachelor's in business administration was basically I came into school wanting to, obviously every kid that likes science and kind of nerdy wants to be a doctor, wants to be some sort of scientist. So I came in as a biology major.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So that was before COVID. I was not a very good COVID student because I like being in person.
Right.
So
I don't blame you.
when COVID hit and I was behind a computer the entire time, it was rough. So at that point I had switched to after that little escapade during COVID, I'd switched into the business program just because I was decent at math. I enjoyed some of the concepts that I had in prior classes that kind of introduced me to the business realm. So after that, I kind of went gung-ho. I finished with my bachelor's in BIS, which is Business Information Systems, which is a mixture of project management and coding, which is very obviously in today's world very, very useful. But then I decided to go for my MBA in management just because they offered to pay for it. So I was like, you know what?
You gotta take advantage.
Exactly.
Right. I don't blame you.
So at that point, I was like, you know what? I might as well try my foot and try my hand at it, and that's kind of where we're at with it now.
So how much longer you got until you can graduate and get your MBE?
It'll be 9 months.
9 months, and then you'll have a bachelor's degree and you'll have an MBE.
Yeah,
That's what's up, man.
Yeah.
That's what's up. We're gonna move on. We're gonna talk about your high school football career, man. Okay, you was a 4-year standout on both sides of the ball for Class 4A powerhouse Berks Catholic. At linebacker, you finished your career with over 345 tackles. At running back, You had over 2,700 yards rushing, 41 touchdowns. I watched a lot of film. It's like they used you like kind of like a Mike Allstott type. So you want to talk about your playing career and playing and going to school at Berks Catholic?
Yeah, absolutely. I was blessed to be able to attend Berks Catholic. They were great people, great staff there. Everything about it was just phenomenal. Like I loved my high school career.
Yeah.
And I was also blessed with some great strength coaches at that point. For the guy that trained me since I've been about 12 years old was a guy named Dane Miller. He runs a gym out there called Garage Strength.
Okay.
So when I was in high school, I was lucky enough that they brought him in to help coach to help with our program.
Yeah.
So we were one strong, mean football team at that point.
Yeah.
But as a freshman, I was I was small, but like it's not small compared to now. I was about 6 foot, 205 pounds.
Okay.
As a freshman. I played a lot of defense. I played a little bit of offense just because there were some older guys on the team. And then my sophomore year, I was about 6'2", like 6'2"-ish, about 215, 220. And then just kind of kept moving up from there.
Right.
We had a lot of good teams, a lot of district championship teams out there.
I know. I'm familiar.
Couple state semifinal appearances. Right. We lost to Cathedral Prep.
Yeah, they're good. They keep a good team.
Out in Erie, we lost to Cathedral Prep twice, and then Bishop McDevitt once.
Okay.
They're
pretty good too.
Yeah, but I got a couple district medals from that, and I was happy about that. But
that's good.
Yes,
A lot of people don't know neither. When you was at Berks Catholic, you was a beast in track and field, man. State runner-up in the discus. You also won a bronze medal in the shot put. Talk about that experience.
That was another thing that my strength coach got me into. Dane, because Dane threw at Penn State when he was in school. So one day he was just talking to me. I was like, you know what? I kind of want to do that. I used to see guys go out guys and girls go out and just throw. And I'm like, okay, that seems kind of cool.
Yeah.
And I didn't have anything to do in the spring because I wasn't real big into baseball.
Okay.
So I was like, you know what? Like let's try this and see how this
Track
goes.
and field, yeah.
So I did that, and I ran. I wasn't the best, but I ran the 200, and then I ran in the 4x1 as well for a good time.
That's good, man.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're gonna talk about the Pitt football career. Okay. When did Pitt start recruiting you, and what made you pick Pitt for academics and athletics?
So Pitt started recruiting me closer into my junior year of high school. After I'd gone to a camp, they offered me as well, which was obviously a great thing because I'm still sitting here playing for Pitt.
Right.
But it was kind of like my recruiting process kind of started a little bit late. One of our former coaches actually was the first person to offer me, Coach Brendan Marion.
Oh, okay.
When he was at Howard.
Yeah.
So Howard was my first offer to go to school.
He's
for
at
free.
UNLV now, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
he's
Yeah, I'm
at
familiar.
UNLV.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so he was the first one to offer me, and just kind of rolled from there.
Okay.
Which I was happy for. I was one of those kids. I wasn't all for all the glitz and glam. I hated the recruiting process. Because for lack of a better term, I don't like when people blow smoke, and that's all.
Tell you one thing and then it's another.
Yeah, that's all. That's all recruiting is. It's a shell game. So when I talked to Coach Narduzzi and the staff here, like it didn't feel like that. It felt very, very genuine, very forward. Like they didn't tell me what I wanted to hear. They told me what I needed to hear.
Right.
Which kind of like for a person like me, that's something that I valued very much. So they had me immediately. So that's why I committed to play and come here. And then obviously it's also not too far. It's not too far from home that I can't drive home.
It's still in state. It's still in state.
But it's also not too close to home.
Parents can still drive to see you and whatnot.
Yeah.
So
it's also not too close to home where mom can just show up on the front porch.
Yeah, right.
Love mom, but need a little bit of distance.
Talk about the adjustment from high school football to college football.
High school football to college football, there's definitely a lot of adjustments that need to be made. Mostly because like in high school football, you think you know football.
Yeah.
Like you think you know the ins and outs of the game, and then you come to college and you're like, oh, I don't know anything.
Yeah, it's a wake up call.
Yeah, it's a wake up call. So the upgrade is really in how you prepare and how you study the playbook, and the cerebral portion of the game is really what you need to.
So basically, the mental part.
Yeah, that mental ability and mental acuity is what you need. So like, because a lot of kids come in, there's kids that are physically ready every year that just can't pick up the playbook.
Right, I'm about to say you got to learn that playbook.
If you're big, strong, and physical, but you're big, strong, and physical in the wrong spot, it don't help.
Yeah.
It's the greatest team game in the world for a reason. All 11 need to be doing their job every play. So that's the big jump that I had to make, was just in my mental preparation going forward because every practice, you got to treat every practice like it's a game.
Right.
Every game like it's your last.
Yeah, definitely, because you don't ever know.
Exactly.
Okay, let's start with your freshman year, 2019. You playing all 11 games, mainly as a special teamer.
Yeah.
That's still good. You finished the season 5 solo tackles. Talk about your freshman year at Pitt.
My freshman year at Pitt was that kind of like training age almost, because like I was just playing with effort. Coach Powell saw me play with effort during practice on scout team, and he was like, you know what, I could use that kid on special teams. So that was kind of like my way onto the field, way onto traveling. Like my first game traveling away was to Penn State. I remember that. That was the game I got my first. Yeah. So. Wow. So I want to say that was my first tackle in game, first college tackle on kickoff was that game. And then that kind of trickled in throughout the year, like, okay, I can trust him on kickoff. Okay, now I can trust him on punt return. Yeah. Okay, now I can trust him on kickoff return. Like,
that's how I started special teams.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so like that's how it just trickled, like started on scout team just in camp.
Yeah.
And then slowly gained its way.
Work your way up.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to move on to your second year, 2020. You playing all 11 games on special teams, backup linebacker. You finish your sophomore season, 16 tackles, 4 solo tackles against Virginia Tech. Talk about your sophomore season.
Sophomore season was a little bit tossed up in the air, obviously, because that was our COVID season, so everything was a little bit. It was weird. There were guys getting sick.
Yeah, it wasn't no fans over there.
Yeah, there was no fans.
I was over there too, man, masked up. I was crazy.
We were at practice. We had a special period dedicated to teaching guys that were on defense how to play offensive positions, and guys that were on offense how to play defensive positions, just in case
COVID wipeout.
COVID wiped out a whole bunch of guys.
You're giving us insight on the COVID season. Wow, I like that.
There were a few games that if you go back against Syracuse, that I played fullback because of that.
I think I remember that, man. I swear I think I remember that.
Yeah.
Wow.
I want to say we averaged like 5 yards a carry when I was in there leading. So that was kind of that weird season where it was like, whoa, like what are we gonna do? Everybody's sick.
You know what's going to happen. Yeah, it was a lot of what ifs.
Yeah.
2021. You playing all 14 games again, special teamer, backup linebacker. You finish your junior year, 34 tackles, 5 TFLs, tackle for losses for the people that don't understand. And you had a career high, 8 tackles, 2 TFLs against New Hampshire. Also, I was at that game too. Also, you guys won the ACC title versus Wake Forest, and you played in the Peach Bowl, man. You had 4 tackles against Michigan State. Talk about winning the ACC title that year, man, and that season.
Yeah. That was a really
playing with
fun.
Kenny Pickett that year.
Yes, sir, I did. That was a real fun season. There were a lot of ups and downs during that season. If you remember.
Right.
But that's what molded us into the team that just kept going. Like we lost to Western Michigan.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, Scott Moore and them boys.
Yeah,
I
but
remember that game.
Losing that game actually helped us morph our defense into what helped us win the ACC championship, which is just changing up because obviously the RPO is designed to stop or to gash our defense. Mm-hmm. Not anymore because of how we switched it up. So that game kind of exposed some weaknesses that we fixed, and that's why we kind of propelled forward.
Okay, I went on a nice run after that too. I remember that.
Yeah.
Talk about playing in the Peach Bowl, man. How was that experience, man?
That was definitely fun. That was definitely fun being down in Atlanta.
Yeah.
We came up short, but it was definitely a good experience. It was a good game for everybody that watched. Obviously, it's rough. It's rough when you lose a bowl game, but we learned a lot. It was a phenomenal show out for a lot of the guys on the team, and definitely a memory I'll carry for the rest of my life, just being down there.
Okay, speaking of the Peach Bowl, how was staying in Atlanta, man, leading up to the bowl game? What did y'all do all week?
Obviously they had set us up with a whole bunch of different stuff to do, like, because for people that don't understand how bowl games work, you're separated. The two teams are separated for a good portion of the time.
Right.
but there's always like a dinner or
Oh, y'all
something,
gotta meet each other. You gotta cross paths.
We're sitting in the same room.
Yeah.
So that always gets interesting. But they walked us through like the College Football Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah,
Great place.
Yeah, walked us through downtown. Like they didn't walk us through. We walked ourselves through downtown.
Yeah.
But like kind of like just saw a whole bunch of different stuff. Had a ton of good food down there.
Yeah, oh, that's lovely.
Yeah,
Good food.
I loved it down there. Maybe one day I'll move down there. But
That's my dream place to move. 2022, that was basically like a reassert year for you. You only played in 4 games, had an injury, but you got your first career sack against Tennessee. I was there. I remember that sack. You returned for the Sun Bowl, make 3 tackles against UCLA. You guys win the Sun Bowl 37-35. Ben Falls late field goal. Well, that was a great game. Talk about the Sun Bowl experience.
The Sun Bowl was a real good. Sun Bowl for me was it was a comeback game because I had gotten hurt previously in the year. That kind of stuttered down my season when I couldn't quite get back right, and I decided that was because I didn't, as we talked about before, I played my freshman year.
Right.
So we decided that was probably a good game to take, or a good season to take my red shirt, because then it wouldn't affect my eligibility anymore. That being said, that was kind of the game that I kind of got the wheels turning again, got back to, because I'll say slightly overweight. It was more like 10 pounds. Because all I could do at that point, because it was a lower body injury, all I could do was lift. I didn't do a whole lot of didn't do a whole lot of running for a good period. But once I got back to running, I was good for about the first half. After that, I started getting real winded. But that was definitely a fun game for me. It was a fun game for everybody. We enjoyed El Paso. We loved it down there.
Yeah, I was about to ask you about that. How was it? How was staying in El Paso, Texas? Because before you tell me, there was rumors, man, about, see if you know about this. There was a rumor down in El Paso, Texas, that there's a bridge and it takes you to Mexico, and they tell you don't go across the bridge because a lot of people went and we haven't seen them again.
Oh yeah, they tell you like they show you like what not to do and what to do. Like they tell you like don't go anywhere in groups less than like 5, just because that's a pretty good just word of advice if you don't know where you're at to begin with. Right. But they tell you like don't go places like less than in groups like less than 5, and like don't go to Mexico.
Cocktails, all that crazy stuff down there.
Because Juarez is right across the river.
Right, that's what they were saying. Right.
So that's what they're kind of just give you the rundown on what
just
to do,
basically how to be safe.
Yeah, exactly.
And,
like people don't understand that El Paso is actually one of the safest cities in America.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, I never knew that.
Yeah, so like it's one of the safest cities in America. There's a large military presence there, just because one, the border, to the military complex that's down there as well. But they took us through that. They took us through like tank simulators and all that stuff on the military base, which is really cool.
That's what's up, man. 2023, this past season, you playing all 12 games. You basically share middle linebacker duties with Shane Simon. Shout out to him. Finished the season with 50 tackles, 4 TFLs, 1 sack, 1 enter. You had a career high 10 tackles and 2 TFLs against Florida State. I remember that game. Also, you got your first enter this past season, man. Yeah. You got your own deflection off Sam Hartman, man. Yeah. So talk about this past season and those moments, man.
Oh, those are definitely some moments I'll remember. Obviously, I'll remember for the rest of my life. My first career interception at Notre Dame was a pretty cool moment in front of my mom, my dad, a bunch of cousins and family friends were all there for the game. Yeah. So that was definitely a fun moment. Obviously, the season last season didn't really go the way we wanted it to go, but there's always a down before there's an up. So right. So that's kind of how we're looking at it going forward too. But there's definitely moment like the brother, because there's a lot of the guys that I came in with that like kind of showed me the ropes. Yeah. Or they left last year. Right. So those are like my last memories.
So now you're the upper class. Yeah. Now you're the one calling the shots now. Yeah, now schooling the freshmen.
Now I'm the grandpa of the team.
Right.
But those are memories I'll have. Those will be my last memories playing football with them for the time being. So those are memories that I'll carry for the rest of my life.
That's great, man. Okay, I see also this past season you was named ACC All-Academic Football Team. Talk about that accomplishment, man. That's a great accomplishment.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That's just that's a shout out. That's a shout out to our academic staff as well. Just again,
you talked about it earlier.
Yeah, like they help you through thick and thin when you don't know what's going on, or you're confused on a subject, or like you're iffy on something. Like, they help you get through it immediately.
I see it paid off for you too, man. That's great.
That's just a shout out and a check in their book for that.
Okay, Pitt football, man. Last season, you guys finished 3-9. I was a little disappointed, but I understand. What are your expectations for this upcoming season, Brandon?
We're going to a college football playoff. That's how we're.
I like the confidence, man.
That's how we're talking. We're talking about winning the ACC championship again. We're talking about doing everything that we need to do.
Okay.
Every little detail, like that's how we're focused now.
Good.
Like every little thing has to be right. Like, because if you don't do the little things right, you're for sure not doing the big things right.
Good.
So that's kind of how we've attacked this offseason, attacked the spring. Like, we're getting the toughness back that we kind of lacked in some moments last year. That like smash mouth Pittsburgh style football is what we're bringing back.
Bloodbath football.
Exactly.
I love it.
Exactly. So that's how we're attacking the game, and that's how we're going to go forward from now on.
What's your dream vacation spot?
Ooh, dream vacation is somewhere nice and quiet. Whether it's a beach or sitting there fishing, that's like I like being away from the hustle and bustle and just being relaxed, sitting somewhere.
Okay, kind of like fishing.
Fishing.
Same type of scenario.
Fishing, or even if it's sitting on a beach relaxing.
Yeah.
Like I'm cool with that.
Okay. Name of the last book you read?
The last two books I read. One was The Lucifer Effect, which is a book on the Stanford Prison Experiment, and then the Power of Your Subconscious Mind were the other two, or the other one.
Man. One word, describe head coach Pat Narduzzi. What's up, coach?
Tough. Coach Narduzzi is definitely a tough man.
Okay.
That's my guy though. When you're younger, you don't quite like appreciate who he is, because you're like, man, that's weird, or
you think he's getting on you.
Yeah, like
in reality, he's trying to help you.
Yeah, like, why are you getting on me? Like, you're not getting on everybody else. But then you realize it's just because he sees the potential of where you could be.
Okay.
So he doesn't want because the worst thing to be at some point is be regretful of what you didn't do in the past.
Right.
And that's what Coach Narduzzi doesn't want you to be.
Okay.
So like him being on you on a consistent basis because you did this wrong, or like every once in a while he'll give you a pat on the back because you did something right. Like that's because he loves us.
That's cool, man. Thanks, Coach. Get the guys on track. Away games, man. What stadium had the most hostile fans? Like, what's the most hostile, wildest stadium you played in where the fans are just heckling you and it's just crazy?
I don't like giving them credit for anything ever. But West Virginia definitely had some of the most
I've been to a lot of games down there.
Yeah, some of the most hostile fans.
It's wild.
Yeah, there was a beer can or two thrown at us during warm-ups and stuff like that. But that's definitely some of the most hostile crowds. But like when you play defense, or when you like football in general, like home games are fun. Don't get me wrong. But there's something about being the villain. When you
you shut that crowd up. Yeah, you make it quiet.
You hear boo.
Shut them down.
You hear all the profanity yelled from the stands. Like, you're like, yeah, this is what I'm supposed to do.
And then you win, and everybody got the sour look. They're quiet, and they see you talking doing the interviews with the TV stations and whatnot. Definitely. Tell me, man, who's the comedian of the team? Who's the Martin Lawrence of the team? Who makes y'all laugh, man?
Oh, there's quite a few guys on the team that definitely have a funny bone in their body. But,
okay.
There's a kid on our team right now named Thomas Aiden. Thomas Aiden.
Yeah, he's hilarious.
D-line.
Yeah, Comedy Central.
Oh yeah. Yeah, him. I can't even. There's so many. It's hard to name. But Thomas definitely sticks out.
Okay.
Any little thing he can make light. He can make light of the situation.
You need those type of dudes, man, to get you through those hard 2 days and stuff. You need those type of players. Who's the best dressed player on the team? Like who be rocking that drip, man? Who's fresh to death?
We got to know. That's another. We got guys that come out dressed in designer head to toe. So it's hard. And there's a couple guys that do that. So
okay.
I can give you a room. Our wide receiver room probably comes.
Okay, so they're the freshest.
Yeah, they come to play. They come to play a lot.
If you could invite 4 famous people over for dinner, who's your 4?
Who's my 4? Jay-Z.
Okay.
Got to be up there.
Hove.
Yeah, if you don't invite Jay-Z, there's something wrong.
There's
something wrong.
You might get some words of wisdom too at that dinner.
As a businessman.
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking
of. Ray Lewis,
Ray.
Football, just a football mindset. I want to see. Bill Belichick is up there. Yeah, because he always looks so grumpy.
I know. Yeah, you probably getting a smile, man.
There's
only seen him smile about 4 times ever.
Yeah, there's something going on between them ears. That's why he don't. That's why he don't smile. And then, man, number four. I'd probably go Robin Williams.
Robin Williams.
Yeah.
Okay, I like him.
Yeah.
I like him. Toughest player you ever had to tackle, man, in college?
Toughest player I ever tackled in college. It's gonna be bad because I forget his name. Dude from West Virginia last year.
Yeah.
The running back last year.
Okay, I'm trying to think.
I'm gonna say he's number 4.
I would say Letty Brown, but he's already in the UFL. That was 2 years ago.
Yeah, but that was one of the hardest. It was one of the hardest hits I made. It was a goal line play.
Yeah.
That was one of the hardest contacts I made in college football.
Wow.
Bent up my face mask, popped one of the.
Wow. It's a lot of force.
Oh yeah, it was a stalemate because he was coming downhill. I was scraped over the top of the line and in the hole, right in the A gap. It was dead. I still got the face mask sitting in my room.
Wow.
All bent up. But that was definitely one of the hardest hits that I've had.
Who's the best player you played against?
This player I played against, Trevor Lawrence.
Okay.
Trevor Lawrence when he was at Clemson.
Okay.
Probably one of the best. He made throws like our DBs were in perfect position.
It was just that arm, that velocity.
Yeah, you're looking at it, you're like, yeah, there's nothing you can do.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's probably why he's starting in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Toughest player you had to cover?
I don't have to cover much, so I've been blessed. I've been blessed about
great.
that.
That's great due to the scheme, huh?
Yeah,
that's great.
Scheme, I don't have to cover too much. But
Okay.
Toughest player. I'm gonna be honest with you. There's a kid that's on our team is Kanate Mumpfield.
Okay, yeah, I like him. I'm a big fan of him.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan of him.
Playing against him in practice, you gotta make sure your cleats are strapped on.
Yeah.
Play against he'll put a move on you and leave you in the dust. So that's definitely one of the toughest guys I've ever covered.
You told me your favorite linebacker is Fred Warner, so we'll go past that question. Brandon, what would getting drafted and playing in the NFL mean to you, man? You definitely got a chance.
It would mean the world to me. It would be a dream that has been 3 generations in my family. My grandfather played football. My dad played football, and now I'm playing football. So. Right. That's just that feeling that like we finally made it. Like I'm the first guy in my family to go to college.
Yeah.
So that was a moment. It was like, okay, like I did this. I made them proud. Like this is another moment to make them proud.
That's what's up, man. Give me 3 players on your team poised for breakout seasons. 3 Pitt players poised for breakout years.
Tay Mumpfield.
Okay.
Poised for a breakout season.
Yeah, I'm waiting. Patiently waiting.
You're gonna see a lot out of our linebacker room in general. I think there's a lot of young guys that have a lot of opportunity.
Okay, yeah, I'm a fan of you, and I forgot the other kid's name, man. He was a running back in high school.
Biles Lewis.
Lovelace. Yeah, Lovelace. I'm a big Lovelace fan.
Lovelace too. Yeah, Lovelace is a product of the Pittsburgh area.
Yeah, I'm followed him since high school.
Yeah, so that we're all poised to have a breakout season.
Okay, I'm rooting for y'all, man.
This is not an odd one, but I think you're poised to see Coach Bell show you what our offense is made.
Oh yeah, I've read a lot about him, man. I see he's adding pieces.
Yeah.
Definitely. NIL, you got an NIL deal? If so, just elaborate on it real fast.
I don't have an NIL deal.
You should. That's crazy.
It was more or less because like when it was first coming out, I was like, you know what, like there's money to be made later on. Like there's not, like I'm here to get a degree and play football. Like adding extra stuff in there. You got to rob Peter to pay Paul.
Yeah, you get distracted too, man. If you ain't level hit it.
Exactly.
Definitely.
So I just kind of took that piece out of it. Like we're lucky enough that like Alliance 412 is our NIL deal.
Yeah, I'm familiar. Yeah, somebody just signed too with you guys.
Yeah. So that's kind of how we. I guess you could call that NIL, but I don't really delve into it too much. I feel like it takes too much away from the game right now.
No doubt. We almost finished, man. I got about a couple more questions. I got to hit 2 games and get you out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Transfer portal. Okay, man. You entered the transfer portal. Then you had a change of heart and you returned to Pitt. Just talk about that process real fast.
For the transfer portal, like I went into the transfer portal after last year just because of we'll call them some miscommunication betwixt myself and some of the coaching staff.
Okay.
And about how ideas that came across. I entered the transfer portal. I left in good faith. It wasn't me bad mouthing anybody.
Right.
Obviously,
right.
I loved the school. I came back.
Exactly.
But when I entered the transfer portal, it was just like I got phone calls from our coaching staff every day that I was in it. I was in it for, I think, like, it was like 13 days.
I would say, like 10, 11 days.
Yeah.
I remember, I was tracking it. I was tracking it.
It was like 13 days. I got calls from our coaching staff every single day.
Wow.
Whether it was offensive guys, defensive guys, coaching our
telling you not to leave.
Yeah, why, come back. This is something that we think we can build something great here. Like, we can keep going forward. That's kind of like, that was the conversation that we had.
Yeah.
Which obviously, I want to stay here, and I loved it here. I was here for 5 years. That's just how, like, at that point, it felt like it was the right decision. And the other thing that really drove home that was the right decision was I got phone calls, like, when you go in the portal, like, as soon as your name hits, like, especially when you play a decent amount of games,
right?
You get a lot of phone calls.
Yeah, I bet. Probably offers, all that. I can only imagine.
So, like, I was never the guy that, like, I never tweeted about anything. I never talked about, like, who called me.
Yeah,
like,
kept it low profile.
Yeah, but, like, it was weird, like, instead of, like, because people didn't even want to talk football on the phone most of the time. Like, you get a call, it was, hey, how are you? Are you officially in the portal? If I answered yes, it was how much to come play here.
Wow.
So, like, when guys throw you, like, a blank check but don't talk anything about football, there was a team that called me and didn't have a head coach yet.
Oh, man.
So I was like, that was the conversation I had. I was like, well, like, you guys don't have a head coach yet. Like, I feel like that's wrong for me to even. Because one, I'm not doing this for the money. I didn't leave for money.
And there's no leader. Who's the leader?
I didn't leave for money.
Right.
I left for different. I left for football, and then two, like, you don't have a leader at all. There's nobody there to, like, I don't even know when I come in if I'm gonna be the guy.
Right. You don't know which system he might have.
Exactly.
A 4-3-3, 4-4-6. You don't know what type of defensive guy he is.
Exactly.
So you don't want to put yourself in that predicament.
Exactly. So that's kind of where I laid with it at that point. And I was like, you know what, like, this is home for me.
Okay. We glad to have you back here in Pittsburgh too, man. Can't wait to see you turn up. Okay, I got a hip hop game and a football game. We get you out of here. This is basically like, I'll say hip hop game. It'll be like Jay-Z or Nas, and you just rapid fire.
Yeah.
Okay, so the hip hop game, we're gonna start with Future or Drake.
Future.
I got one for you. Sexy Red or Glorilla?
I'll go Sexy Red over Glorilla.
Okay, I like Glow. Kendrick Lamar or The Field?
The Field. I'm gonna go Kendrick.
Okay, he's killing them, man.
Yeah.
Moneybag Yo or Finesse 2 Times?
Moneybag.
Okay. The Baby or Lil Baby?
Lil Baby.
Okay. 21 Savage or Jack Harlow?
21 Savage.
Okay. Now this game right here is NFL. Since you're a middle linebacker, it's all inside linebackers, off-ball linebackers.
Okay.
Patrick Queen or Devin White?
Queen.
Okay. Steeler Nation now too. Levante David or Demario Davis?
Levante David.
Okay.
Levante David.
Bobby Wagner or Drake Greenlaw?
See, that's rough because Bobby Wagner was a guy I was watching for a long time.
Yeah, he's a stud. He's still going out. He's an OG now.
That's gonna be Bobby Wagner.
Okay.
Yeah, I love Drake Greenlaw too.
Yeah, Bobby's special.
Yeah.
He's special. Matt Milano or Nick Bolton?
Matt Milano.
Okay.
Matt Milano's fun to watch. Like, as far as, like, guys to watch.
He's a great cover linebacker too.
Guys to watch on film, like, he's phenomenal to watch.
I think I know you're gonna say on this. Roquan Smith or Fred Warner?
Fred Warner, yeah. That's Fred Warner.
Yeah. It's like Fred Warner, NFC, he's AFC, but if you had to go, I would probably take Fred Warner too, man. Hey, man, I want to thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
That's all the time we have. Check out my man, Pitt middle linebacker Brandon George. Good luck this season. He's going to be cracking heads all season. And we'll see you next time on Platt's Point of View. Thank you.